Greetings everyone, this is Mike Wright, the Astro Sherpa, dropping in with a spatial report. You are looking at good old Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn's retrograde, so this is opening doorways for you to look back at old stories, old memories. This is time for you to free yourself from the structure, the old patterns. Saturn restricts us down into crystalline form. So Saturn's the malefic. Let's show you Jupiter, the good stuff. Jupiter was Saturn's son. So Jupiter wanted dominance, to rule. So he had to overthrow Saturn. Restriction, father time to do it. And Saturn's father was Uranus. Yeah. Jupiter here in Taurus is right there next to Uranus, which we can't see with our visible eyes right now. If you had a nice, powerful telescope, you could see it. And that's one eccentric planet. Folks, this is you correlating this heavenly sphere you're seeing, this outer world, and correlate it to the patterns in your life. If we don't restrict ourselves, discipline ourselves, we take in too much energy, our eyes are bigger than our stomach, then eventually you exceed the structure. So you're storing all that excess energy in the body, and that's stagnant. It's gooey, thick, gluttonous, just, energy coalesces into this fat storage, stored energy. It's like that's what batteries are, stored energy. But we're not designed to carry a whole lot of excess stored energy around. We're renewed every day. Every day that sun comes up, it recharges the electromagnetic field of the earth, and we're tied to that as well. So you get your renewal by tapping into these patterns and quit fighting them. We're all born at different times of the day and night. So you take on the nature or season. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That's, one interpretation. The 4 seasons. We have to breathe. We have to drink water. We have to be here in the earth. We have to stay warm. We need to keep growing and understanding. So Jupiter is expanding beliefs, seeing the bigger picture. So this is flying high, getting way up there. Pisces and Jupiter, Jupiter ruled Pisces. Till Neptune came along and said, I need my third. So Jupiter, Neptune, and Pluto carved up the 3 realms. Saturn was stuck, ruler of the earth, father time. Pluto, god of the underworld, was the psyche, your psychological issues, deep patterns from family issues. So let's go correlate this light we're getting and see what it means to you. So we're here to grow out of the darkness and find our way in time-space till you can escape it. So this is a beautiful time to connect to your habits and patterns and erase them and build new ones. So if we look at the relationship of the new moon right here, this is separate than the moon degree right here. So you're like, what? Moon 20? Moon 16? That's different. What's that mean? Well, one is a position, a coordinate. The other is a relationship. So if you take a point where you started, that would be the moon, new moon, at 0 degrees. And we started that journey back here at 23 of Leo. So the beginning of our journey of this solar energy and the moon's relationship reflecting over the next 28 days, we'll see a relationship revealed, played out, reflected. And this happens over and over and over in cycles and cycles on cycles and bigger cycles. So we're seeing the moon in relationship from what we see in the sky reflected at an angle to the earth. So the moon is, we see it as 16 degrees of Virgo right now. Boom. So Virgo is a mutable earth sign. Mutable means it changes shape. So if you take some, grab some dirt and you moisten it like clay and you spin it in a circle, you can shape that into a vessel. That's right. We can mold elements here in Earth. We get to coalesce down into dense form to shape and change form and learn how to do that. So the last 200 years, we've been learning how to do the earth elements, Taurus, your essential nature. Virgo, this is the nature of your mind putting things in order. Your day-to-day, staying clean, neat, and orderly. Then we can go out and relate. And then the third part of this earth energy is Capricorn, the harvest. You know, coming into the holiday season with the full basket. And not one you robbed and stole from others, so you don't feel guilt and shame. And then you're like, well, I'm starving. They had extra, they didn't need it, so I'll take it. And that is a natural impulse. But we're expanding beyond the earth realm now. These 3 signs, we're moving out of that energy from the last 200 plus years of a pattern. So we're coming into Aquarius right here. This is the age of the atmosphere and understanding the hidden currents. You know, we have social currents. We have physical currents. You know, we have mental emotions. You know, these are all current. So what we think of as now, current events, that's where our mind's focused. So this representation of the mind and the mind changing all the time is Mercury. And Virgo is the home sign of Mercury. in the earth plane. So Mercury comes and goes behind the sun, in front of the sun. You know, it can get really fast, it can go slow. Like, you know, I've only seen it once physically in the sky. It's very tricky to see because it just doesn't get above the horizon away from the sun enough. So this represents the changing nature of our mind having to go from pole to pole. If you look at your body and you took two AA batteries, on the left side you have the little negative battery flipped, you know, one way, and then the battery on the other side has to be flipped opposite, so the negative and positive. That's the way you're built. Your right side, you have a plus and minus, and then the left side is a minus plus. That's so energy can flow in continuity. We have to have resistance. So Saturn and how it operates, I'm going to teach you one of its little secrets. You guys got to take these jewels and gifts while you can, because the path ahead's going to be a little tricky unless you've learned to levitate. Then you can float right by all this. But Saturn is showing us, when you focus your will and determination, you show up every day, you're disciplined, no matter what it is. Even if you just say, today, I'm asserting my authority. Just to understand, you do that every day, you're programming this little mind down here, Mercury. So Mercury controls, it goes from our subconscious breathing, you know, I'm hungry, I'm grouchy, you know, to the higher mind up here, Uranus, which is the brain function and connecting to your nervous system, which is your antennas to feel vibrations. You know, when you're nervous, it's because you're feeling currents, you know, people's emotions in the water or in the air. So we're manipulated by all these energies if you're asleep. So Saturn's first tool is it keeps you asleep, drunk, denial. That's the three modes of operation Saturn uses first to break you down. So if you're, you know, you just don't care. I don't have anything to, you know, strive for. Nobody appreciates me. Fuck it. That's Saturn, down in the dirt, living under the bridge, hard times. And you just keep swallowing the water. You know, Pisces is that hollow leg where you just keep pouring the vapors, the alcohol, the emotional water, you know, some toxic dude or bitch or whatever you want to call them, whatever label you are comfortable with or uncomfortable with. This is a wave we're in. It's good and bad simultaneously. Saturn makes you regret that you stuck your head out. You know, you're trying to help others when you haven't helped yourself. So the second mode of Saturn is when you start like improving yourself and you become Captain Save-A-Ho, or Captain, I'm gonna tame my man. And this is where we involve ourselves and create friction and bad patterns, bad memories. You're taking on your mother and father, trying to build a structure that isn't suitable for the pairing of you and your partner. So most times we attract the opposite sign because it's the same energy in reflection in a different element. So we see a perfect mirror of our shadow. And that's why, you know, if you break this circle down in half or quarters, you can start to understand these things relatively easier instead of individual degrees. That's 360. And that's a little overwhelming. But if you look at big picture, break that down into 12 sections, boom, 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 then you can start to realize and do a cyclical pattern in relationship. So a new moon is an energetic seed state where the sun and moon line up. And this is, we feel this intensity. You know, some people like just gorge on energy. You need a lot of energy, you know, because to get you through the next, 7 days, which reaches the quarter phase point, a 90-degree, crisis phase. So the mechanism of action on this relationship is this bursting seed state. The first opposition you get to see if you have enough power and energy to grow it to its full potential. And that's the opposition. So it reaches 180 degrees away from its seed state. So it's either blossomed from a seed, grown in a line straight up and then blossomed. So you can see that process. Was it a successful reflection of your efforts, or was it just maybe not what you thought? So every moon cycle is a chance for us to play and experiment with energy and seed states. How we can work on our own misgivings, shortcomings, what we didn't get to experience previously. This is the time now for you to go through these things before we roll into this new power shift dynamic in the fall. So right now, we still have forward momentum with Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, and the moon. So Mercury here comes into this last decan just barely, and this starts the process connecting to Libra. So if you look at this is a brilliant design. It really is cool. Each sign can be broken down into thirds. So the first third, the middle third, and the last third. So every energetic shift has to intermingle, blend positive and negatives, and then elemental shifts. So that starts right here. So the relationship goes from this first 10 degrees and then starts this middle process of opposition, reflection, and then you synthesize it here. And then you do it all over again for this relationship into transformations. So that's a new way to look at the wheel, where versus just saying, oh, the sign starts here, ends here. Okay, but no, energy doesn't work that way. It doesn't just switch. It has to, if you look at the atomic level, it interleaves. And then, so it meshes together smoothly. Yeah, so Jupiter and Saturn, this is these important understandings. So Saturn is finishing up. That's why we're wrapping up the old feminine story from Saturn's beginning here in Aries, and then a whole cycle around the wheel. Boom. Okay, and that was the first start of Pluto and Saturn had met up in Libra back in the 80s. So that was that first interleaving of this air energy leading into the Aquarius air cycles leaving Earth. So this is why we're in the middle of a changing of age right now. This is what's so incredible. The awakening, grand awakening. Now, back in the 1800s, they had a spiritual awakening led into the Victorian age. People were very religious. So we're going to see Saturn come back over those stories, witch hunts, witch trials, the Catholic vision of the world for the last 1,000 years and how much anger and hatred that's generated in response to its control mechanisms. So many versions of that split off, many perspectives. And you're seeing the old Eastern philosophies revealed in Western spiritual stories, just hidden in symbology. So these are all just various perspectives throughout time, and then formed as a pearl or a belief and held upright as something to emanate and look and add to. But as our perspectives grew and we expanded east to west, we started seeing other cultures and their pearls of wisdom. So some of those were in opposition to our own, but they had the same energetic presence, just in opposition. So realize every person you meet, every circumstance you meet right now is an opportunity for you to grow, and just reflect your old shortcomings and misgivings, your shames, your wounds, and put those in an old bag and toss it over here on the side of the mountain. The mountain we go up and down, that's awareness. Capricorn is the top of the mountain. The sea is Cancer. So we're going around the circle here, 180 degrees, the top, then we let go through Aquarius, friend groups, communities. Pisces is like, oh shit, let's get the hell out of here. Been a wild ride. Aries is like, okay, let's do it all again because I want to be number one. I want to win. The ego, the persona. So that's your journey, folks. This is what these tools and representations mean. These glyphs, they were demonized, hidden away in symbols. The first 5 books of the divine Biblios, they called them patriarchs, 12 patriarchs, apostles. The new version of that was the 4 fixed signs: Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus. So that represents, while we're in Earth, we have to breathe, we have to pump blood, we have to be grounded to the earth, and we have to transform matter we put into energy and then grow back to the source. So our journey never ends here while we're here in this physical realm. So the 3D is Saturn and crystallized form. That's what you're trying to leave in understanding and physical, emotion, and mental awareness. So really tune into these main relationships, your relationships to food, to how people make you feel. When you're driving down the road, Mercury, you're at the market, and Mars, that male impulse. Mars is freaking a badass right now. that dude's gonna cut the way through the fog. You know, all this, you know, BS. The last bastion of hope for freedom is the scales. If we all don't hold and keep truth blind, so scales, you know, show us the truth, dark and light. If we allow the scales to be, you know, tilted in favor of the serpents and scorpions, then we can't attain these higher dimensions. Tune up, tune in, any way you go. I hope you're well. Astro Sherpa out.